Okay, here we go. Oof. A little tired today, out on the Shambo all day yesterday, but good fishing, so worth the trip. Worth being a little tired. It's good. Anyway, I'm a person that I don't like a whole lot of fluff. I like to be direct and to the point. And the reason I want to talk about tongue speaking today is because the last time I broke into God's presence, and I wish that was more, but the last time I broke through, God was speaking to me about speaking in tongues. And so I figure that if I want to be in His will, I should be talking to people about what God's talking to me about. That, to me, that makes sense. So anyway, I think that there's a whole lot of people who believe that tongues praying is real, and they would actually consider praying in tongues if they thought there was a way they could tell it was genuine and that they weren't just babbling in meaningless babble. And that was me for over 25 years until one day I prayed and I asked God. I said, you know what, I'm going to try, and you'll have to try. But I said, Lord, show me if it's genuine. And my tongues prayer that day generated 14 words of encouragement, and so I was convinced it was genuine. But there's another way to tell. There's an easier way to tell, to confirm. And first, I just want to say this is not about. This is about praying in tongues and not about speaking in tongues, because without an interpreter, speaking in tongues is basically pointless. Speaking publicly in tongues is pointless if there's no interpreter. And for this reason, Paul says he would rather speak 5 words in a known language in the church than 10,000 words in a tongue. And just a point of clarification, anyone who can pray in tongues can speak in tongues. That's just a no-brainer. But anyway, to the point. The way to tell if your tongues prayer is genuine or not is to see if the words you pray are lifting your spirit and if they take you into the Spirit or not. Because when you pray in genuine tongues, you are praying with your spirit. So when you begin to give thanks to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, when you begin to worship Jesus, the King of Kings, within a few seconds, it might take a minute, you will notice that your atmosphere will begin to change. Peace will flood into your mind. The more you worship and focus on Jesus, it will begin to force all the cares and concerns and stresses of the world out of your mind, because you've entered into the Spirit. You've gone through the spiritual gates and into the courtyard of the spiritual temple. The Bible says, I will enter His gates with thanksgiving in my heart. I will enter His courts with praise. So if when you pray in tongues, you go to the same place of peace that worship takes you to, you can be reasonably certain that your tongues are genuine. Try alternating between worship of Jesus and praying in tongues. Both should easily keep you in the same peaceful atmosphere. In other words, when you flip back and forth, there'll be no disturbance of the peace. If your tongues aren't genuine, it will not keep you in the Spirit. So, not going into detail, but praying in the Spirit is the best place to intercede for others, the best place to hear from God. God is a spirit, and those that worship Him must worship in spirit and in truth. Worship will take you into the Spirit, but so will true tongues, genuine tongues prayer, take you into the Spirit. Tongues prayer can be a powerful tool to keep you in the Spirit and also to pray the very will of God. So anyway, hope this helps. God bless. Thanks for listening, and keep your line tight.